Heyo everybody, Haku here with my review for Tensei Shitara Slime Datta Ken, Episode 8. And I really did enjoy this one. I think that it was probably the best episode so far, and one thing that I absolutely loved about it is that it did a death in a really unique way where I kind of felt like it was a really happy death. I got the feels, but I wasn't really ever sad for the death. I felt more like it was sort of a triumphant death, a release kind of death. Like, I don't know, it felt like an actual happy death. So I certainly got the feels, but I wasn't super sad. So I really liked the way it was done. But either way, I can talk about it from the beginning. So we start off with Shizu thanking Rimuru for everything and wanting to tell him her story so that her story can continue. She has this sort of obsession with knowing that she existed, or the world knowing she existed. It's why she went after the Demon Lord, and it's also why she wants to tell her story. But she says that she met the hero, and there's a great OST going on during that. And the hero brought her back. Not really physically, well, not just physically, but emotionally sort of brought her back, gave her the mask to suppress Ifrit, and over time she learned to control the power on her own to an extent. But eventually the hero disappeared. So as she got older, she started to lose control of her powers. Eventually she retired, and she became a teacher at Ingracia, or a teacher in Ingracia, some kingdom, at a school for otherworlders. So apparently there's plenty of otherworlders if there's technically a school for them, even though it looked like she only had like 5 students. One of her students even became a guild grandmaster, so that's really cool. I feel like in the future we're going to see a lot more of her students. Maybe that's even the one human group from the opening, because we still haven't seen either of the 2 human groups from the opening, really. And we haven't seen the Oni group, which is like a central point of the opening and ending, and we've only got 4 episodes left this core, and I would assume next core we're getting a new opening and ending, though since the ending proper didn't come in here until like 5 episodes in, I'm not sure if we'll not get a new opening or ending until later than the mid-core. But either way, or mid-season rather. Hold on, where was I? Okay, so she went to search for the man who summoned her, and that was going to be her last journey. So she shares her real name with Rimuru, asks his real name, and then finally asks to be eaten as her last wish, because she doesn't want to be absorbed by the world, absorbed by this world, so she can live on within him, sort of. She didn't really necessarily come out and say that last part, but it's obviously the general thing that the series is going for, is that she's going to live on through him. But she says the name of the guy that summoned her, Leon Cromwell, one of the strongest demon lords. And she says that one of the reasons she went to do it, other than, again, wanting to be acknowledged, was wanting to find a way for the kids to be returned to their original worlds, wanting to find a way to save those kids, which was great. She's a very good teacher. So now we know the other girl from the opening with the mask is the hero. We need to learn more about her. And if she's wearing a mask that suppresses powers like that, is she similar to, is she similar as a person? Is her story similar perhaps to what Shizu's was? And in addition to that, we have no idea what's going on with all these kids either, since they're all from other worlds. But either way, I thought that the dream sequence as she died was really beautiful, and again really happy. It was feelsy, but it wasn't sad at all. It was happy. She finally got to pass on from this world she hated to be reunited with her mom in the afterlife for her. So again, it's kind of a very happy death for her. Then Rimuru becomes the girl version finally. I mean, technically I guess still genderless, but I mean, it's based off of a girl, so I guess that would technically make it a girl body. But either way, I loved Ranga during this. Like, when he got so offended, like, do you think I wouldn't recognize my master even if he changed forms? I really like Ranga as a character. I love all the little characters we've been introduced to, though. Like all the goblin characters and everything. I'd love to see more of them. But Aaron's group, who I hope we see more of, too. I really like them. They're returning they're returning with nothing but good things to say about Rimuru's group, so that's gonna put in a good word for them toward the guild, but at the same time notifying the guild of them is a little bit sketchy, because if one of those students is the guy with the black hair from the opening, just guessing if the one group from the opening is her students, judging by the clothing. And again, I could be totally wrong because I'm guessing off of basically no evidence here. But if he's the guild master and he finds out about this and he goes and attacks and stuff, we see him fighting Rimuru in the opening. So he could be an early level antagonist. He could actually be a bad guy. I mean, he could maybe be antagonistic, but maybe he's not totally a bad person, but we'll see. But either way. What else was there? Oh yeah, Rimuru gives them new gear before they leave, courtesy of his dwarven artisans. And then at the end, we have this weird stuff at the end. So there's this orc walking through a deserted wasteland, and he's given a new name by a guy named Gelmud, and that name sounds super familiar. We've definitely heard the name Gelmud before. Yeah, the names, we've definitely heard that. We had to have. So I think maybe he was, I think he was the one that named the original Rieger, because I think where the name came from was when they were talking about Demon Lords before at the camp when they were on the way to Dworgen. I think that may have been where it was heard. But the name totally sounds familiar. But either way, he names him Geld and says he's going to be the Orc Disaster and take over the floor of Jura. And just me, as an as a person speaking American English, when I hear somebody called a disaster, that generally doesn't depict them as like something cool. It makes them seem bad at whatever they are at doing. But either way, so he's Geld the Orc Disaster. And we already know from previous episodes that I believe it was the orcs, ogres, but the guy didn't see human. Gelmud didn't seem human. I forgot to mention that, but the orcs, ogres, and lizard men were fighting over the territories. So, maybe ogre might be the translation for the Oni. Okay, that might make sense. I just realized that being dumb. But yeah, I guess you could translate Oni as ogre. So maybe that's when we're going to get to meet the Oni characters from the opening and stuff. Because we've seen the Lizard Man guy in the opening, and the introduction of this Geld guy makes it seem like he's going to be an antagonist. So maybe this Geld guy is the Orc Disaster. He's going to take out the village of these ogre people, like we see the destroyed village in the ending. So maybe he's going to be the Orc Disaster, the disaster that comes and destroys that village, and that's what's going to lead them to being allied with Rimuru, because the name of the next episode is something about the Attack of the Ogres, something like that. So we're probably going to be introduced to those characters next time, and we'll get to meet that one Lizard Man character eventually. So, yeah. Anything else I'm missing here? No. Oh, I have my general thoughts at the end. So, yeah, what I noticed, we still haven't seen most of the characters from the opening. Me now realizing that the ogres might be the Onis. We're probably going to get to see him next episode, but we still haven't seen. It's going to take us a while, I guess, to see that Lizard Man. But, yeah, going from there. The death was really beautiful and really happy. It was a really good death. But some things feel like they may have been skimmed over. Like the way the anime portrayed it was that Shizu had basically just met these people for her last journey or whatever. She barely knew them. But their connection, I like the belief that their connection was really deep, because their connection seemed really deep here, and I like thinking of the story better that way. So I feel like there's probably more to that journey and more to that connection that maybe was a little bit skimmed over. And just general things with the way they told the story feels like that either they've skimmed over some details or we're going to get flashbacks on it later. Or both. They could have skimmed over some details and we're going to get flashbacks on it later. So yeah, there's always that. Anything else in my notes? I think that was it. Yeah, that's it. So I really, because of the feeling that some things were skimmed over, and just some like weird feelings with the pacing at parts. I don't want to say it was perfect, but it made me really, really feelsy. It brought the emotion. It was enthralling and really good. So I'm going to give it as close to perfect as I give scores without it being perfect. 9.75. Happy deaths, I guess, out of 10. Orc disasters out of 10. But either way, I hope you enjoyed the video. Like if you did like the video, and comment down there too. Tell me what you thought of this episode, what you thought of my thoughts on it and all that. Subscribe for more. Tensei Shitara, Slime Datta, tons of other anime, plus manga, light novels, webcomics, other things on the channel. Subscribe. Wait, I just said that. Follow on Twitter if you want. I can try to keep you updated there and stuff for the channel. And I can talk to you there if you want. And if you want to talk to me or more of us about this series or anything else on the Discord server, just ask and I'll give you a link to the Discord server because it's free and open for anyone. So that's it. Thank you once again for watching. And I'll see you all next time.